episode of Comics Review. I'm your host, Kevin Starkey. The first comic I want to talk about today is Kane Lynch. This is issue number 4 by Wildstorm Comics. The writer on this is Ian Edgington, and the artist is Christopher Mitten. I guess that's how you pronounce that. This story, I've been collecting this since issue 1. It's based on the video game, I guess, Kane Lynch, and which I've never played. It's got some cool art in here. Let me show some of that. I like the style. Some of it I don't like. Some of it is really cool, though. There's a lot of action in this. It starts off with a lot. This particular issue with a lot of explosions and shooting and a chase scene. And basically, Kane and Lynch, the two guys, they're being pursued, I guess, by, there's this group called the Seven, who they were sort of coerced into going after by this guy Hendrix, and they failed at it, and now Hendrix's guys are after them, and so are the Seven. And this issue, they're in Germany, and they're just being chased and running away from them, and Kane and Lynch sort of end up arguing. And, then they're going to split up, and then the Seven's people show up to try to, capture them, kill them, whatever. And they end up getting back together again and taking out these guys. And then the big boss lady of the Seven shows up at the end. And it sort of ends there. So there's a lot of action in the beginning, a lot in the end. And it's a sort of a fun thrill ride, basically. It's a good comic. I don't love it, but the writing's good, and the artwork's pretty good. The coloring's kind of neat. It's real gritty looking. Pretty decent comic, though. The next one I want to talk about is Lady Mechanika. This is issue number 1. This is by Aspen Comics, and this one is Joe Benitez is the writer and the artist on this, which I think that's really cool. The colors are by Peter Stegerwald, I guess you pronounce that. And basically what it is there's this lady who's called Lady Mechanika, and she has like mechanical arms and legs, and she doesn't have her memory, prior to a certain date. It's a lot like Wolverine in some instances, where she's got this, she's basically, a warrior and almost indestructible, and she doesn't remember her origins, basically. This story, there's another girl found who has similar, mechanical arms and legs, and she's on a train, and they bring over a doctor, they're like, she looks injured, and she basically dies there. And then Lady Mechanika finds out about this and since she wants to know her past, she wants to see this body and examine it. So in this issue, she's going, you're basically learning about her and how she wants to find out about her past. And she breaks into the place where the body is to try to get a look at it. And she finds it, and at the end something happens, someone shows up, and it's got a great ending. This is a really cool comic. It takes place in Elizabethan times in England, and it's a very steampunk comic. I like the artwork. The writing is really good. I definitely highly recommend that one. Pick that one up if you can. The next comic I want to talk about is 27. This is by Image Comics. This is issue number 1. And this is a strange comic. This is, the premise is that a lot of rock stars die at the age of 27. And so, like Kurt Cobain and some others. And in this one, the guy's a guitar player, and he's 27, and he's injured his left hand, so he can't play guitar anymore. It's supposed to be, they set him up to be this real famous guy. Let me show you some of the art. Really cool art in here. And so he's hurt, he can't play, he gets down on his luck, and he's going to all these different doctors, trying to find out if any of them can help him all around the world. And he gets desperate and goes to some guy who's not even a doctor, who performs some bizarre, tests or procedure, I guess it is, on him. And, he's guaranteeing him that when it's done, his hand will work again. And really cool artwork in this comic. The coloring is really neat. I love the artwork. It's really cool. The story is really good. The writing, there's some sort of supernatural elements to the story. You don't know. So he gets his procedure done. The man who did it, something happens to him. He gets out of there. He still doesn't feel like he has use of his hand, and then he discovers something. Then it does seem like he does have use of his hand again. He starts playing his guitar again, and everything seems cool, but then there's a twist, and it sort of ends and leaves you wondering, what the heck's going to happen to this guy. Is he going to become a rock star again? And there's some issues there, so it's really going to be cool to see what they do with this story. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I enjoy it. It's really good art, and the writing is really good. The next comic I want to talk about this is the final one I'm going to talk about. This is Silent Hill Past Life. This is issue number 2. I reviewed issue number 1 last week, and I haven't posted that episode yet, and I'm sorry about that. I had some computer issues. I'm going to try to get that one up after this one, so it's going to be a little out of order, but this is based on, I guess, a video game, Silent Hill, and this takes place in the 1800s, like right after the Civil War, and the family of Jeb and Esther, his wife, moved back east from the Dakota territories to live in a house of Esther's uncle or cousin or something, I forget what it was. He died and gave the house to them. So they go back to Silent Hill to live, to fix up this house. It's in pretty bad shape. They find a weird Indian lady in the house and a knife, and apparently Jeb had some past life where he was an outlaw or something. It's sort of hinted at and skirted around. They don't really tell you the details of that. Let me show you some of the art. Really cool artwork in this. The writing's good. Definitely enjoying this. Really, I love the art. The coloring. It's sort of a western with some sort of spooky elements to it, but nothing really scary yet. Basically, these people know Jeb from the past, when he was sort of a bad guy, an outlaw or something, but he doesn't know them, some of the people in the town, and he wants to report that Indian lady that was in his house to the sheriff. So he goes into town, and this is where he runs into some people, and everyone seems to know his reputation. Meanwhile, at home, his wife, by the way, is pregnant, and that Indian lady shows up when his wife sort of passes out or whatever, and they have a little conversation, and it sort of ends there. You don't really know what's going to happen with this family. The Indian lady says stuff about the baby that makes it sound like they were expecting it and they're waiting for it. So I don't know where they're going with that, but really, really cool story. I'm definitely excited to be collecting that one. Now I just want to mention a couple other ones that I picked up this week that I read one of them and I haven't read the other one yet. First one is Night of the Living Dead. This is issue number 2. This is by Avatar, and I collected I bought the first one about a month ago, I guess, and it's really creepy and really gory and very adult. I'll show you something that's not too risque. The art is not great. It's okay. It's such a weird story. They're in D.C. This is in the 70s, or no, it's not the 70s. It's the late 60s, I guess, because Johnson is president, and it's during the Vietnam War. There's a bunch of hippies protesting, and I think I can show you that one. And there's this guy who's a soldier who's bringing something that's going to expose this big conspiracy to show the president. And all these zombies show up and they're killing people and everything. I can show you this page too. It's cool. It's not great. It's kind of creepy and gory and kind of nasty. I can't even show you any of the really nasty stuff. But I don't know. You know, it's not great. And then the other one I'm collecting is Star Wars Knight Errant. This is issue number 3 by Dark Horse. And I've read issues 1 and 2, and I'm kind of a bit lost with this one. I like Star Wars pretty much, but I don't know any of these characters. I don't really know what's going on. It's kind of hard for me to follow. Good artwork though. That's it. I have some more that I gotta collect from. I gotta pick up today from the other comic book store that I go to, but I think I'm only getting 1 or 2 from them. And that is it this week. I will see you next week. Please leave a comment here on YouTube or over on my blog at twodognight.net. Let me know what you're reading this week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.